Hothany Cartano here, the internet's busiest, I mean sweatiest, I mean hottest Christian music nerd. Before we hop into the actual review, just want to say there's going to be some stuff down in the description if you want to know how the channel works. If you want to request me to review an album, just read the description. Today we're going to be looking at the album Waiting for the Sun by The Doors. The Doors are The Doors is a classic rock band, a psychedelic classic rock band. Most well known for the songs Break On Through to the Other Side, their first album, and more than anything else, Van Morrison. Van Morrison is kind of a legend. He's kind of like the Kurt Cobain of classic rock. That's kind of what he is. His reputation really is just huge of being this disturbed mind, and he's often like quoted and known as a legend like Kurt Cobain. I don't think he's as legendary as Kurt Cobain, but he's like Kurt Cobain's number one and Van Morrison is number two. Anyway, Waiting for the Sun is the third Doors record, either released a year or released not long after their second record, Strange Days. It might have been released a year afterwards, maybe 2 years afterwards. I'm not positive. But interesting to note, this album actually has 11 songs, and unlike their first two albums, Strange Days and The Doors, the self-titled album, the self-titled debut, this album does not have one super duper long ambitious song on it. Most of these songs are actually pretty short. Some of these songs are less than 3 minutes, like the first song. And yeah, The Doors, another thing I would say that they're known for is on their albums they tend to have these really long grand songs that are like 10 minutes long. At least they feel like they're 10 minutes long. And they didn't do that on this record. It's just the songs are more straightforward and traditional, I would say, in terms of length. This Doors album features the word love in 4 out of the 11 songs. Nearly half the songs on this album have love in the title, which is just crazy. The first song is called Hello, I Love You. The second one's called Love Street. And then not long after you have Wintertime Love. And then My Wild Love. So clearly you have some love-centered lyrics on this thing. You also have some of The Doors' darkest, most disturbing content. And you wouldn't think that with a record titled Waiting for the Sun. That album cover isn't super dark looking. And, love is the title and the topic of several of these songs. But then you have songs like Not to Touch the Earth, which is just really dark, cryptic lyrics and kind of a dark undertone for the whole song. And The Doors do occasionally do that. They do occasionally get really dark and kind of scary sounding. And then even more so, I would say, with, not even more so, but definitely the most standout, memorable track on this album is The Unknown Soldier. This song starts off very eerie, and then it gets very light. In the middle of the song, you hear it it's like it transitions into a skit of soldiers, of a guy saying fire, and then you hear like gunshots, and then it gets really dark again. And it's kind of a spooky song. They're kind of dark, and yeah, it's some dark lyrical content and music on this album. I did say that the Doors are a psychedelic rock band. That's the other thing they're known for, is their psychedelic music, especially on the song Light My Fire from the debut. That's like the most iconic thing they've done musically, is that sound. They often reuse that sound in like other songs that are not even on that album. They reuse the same music. They don't do it a ton on this album, but there are hints of it, especially on the first song, Hello, I Love You, which is this very upbeat song with some untraditional, like, psychedelic type music on this song. And some of these songs are kind of upbeat, some of them are slow, some of them are mid-tempo. There's a wide range, and there's a lot of variety in the lyrics and in the music on this album. With that being said, I think this is the most interesting Doors album. I think it's the easiest to listen to. I think it's the most interesting. I think it's the most enjoyable. This is my favorite The Doors album, and I'm going to try to explain why. Actually, I kind of already did. Like I said, this album is just more interesting. The lyrical content is more interesting, especially on The Unknown Soldier and Not to Touch the Earth. And Spanish Caravan also is really interesting. And just, in general, I'm not a big Doors fan. I don't really like them a ton. I think musically, this record sounds better than most of their albums. This is literally just, in my opinion, this is their best sounding record. It's just, the melodies work. The music is more interesting. The main word I have for this album is it's more interesting, it's more entertaining than the other Doors albums, in my opinion. And so for that reason, I think this is an enjoyable record. This is a pretty good record. Waiting for the Sun is a thoroughly entertaining, interesting, at times unsettling and unnerving record, with some really high quality music throughout the entire record. Of course, an interesting presence with the singing. Van Morrison is an interesting character, and his personality does shine through on this album. Not as strongly as it does on the debut, but this is an interesting record. This is an entertaining record. This record is well produced. It sounds good. Some interesting lyrics on this album. I'm going to give this thing 4 stars out of 5. What do you think of the Doors? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? What is your favorite classic rock band? What's your favorite psychedelic rock band? Probably Pink Floyd. I think Pink Floyd are like a million times better than the Doors. I really don't like the Doors very much. For some reason, I reviewed like 4 of their albums. I have 3 more to go. I don't know which one I'm reviewing next. Which one I'm doing a YouTube video of yet. I've already reviewed them, but we'll see what happens. Thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day.